And we're back. For those just tuning in, this is WPWL 103.7 FM Pauling Public Radio. You're listening to Marcy's World, and I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Iankowitz, and I promised a winter wellness moment, which is possibly going to morph into more than just one moment, because sometimes time and life does that to us. Was going to have a conversation about communication, dating, cell phones, and sharing. So if anybody wants to call in, if you're listening to the live stream, we are at 845-493-0355. I'm hoping that somebody from our studio audience will chime in as I make a few statements. There was a point made about cell phones being to blame for relationship breakdown and communication dysfunction. And I don't think that's a fair assessment to make. I think that it does, these electronics do negatively impact communication because they train our children and those who embrace these modes of communication. They train people to look at a screen rather than into each other's eyes, which are the windows of the soul. They're windows to the soul. Or however you want to remember that idiomatic expression. When you make eye contact, you are revealing something of yourself. Energy and communication comes through eye contact. And does anybody in the studio audience want to say anything about anything?
I agree.
Oh, you agree. Oh, so that's the way we're going to play this. Got it. So, I have 3 people in the studio audience, including my sound engineer. Nobody wants to talk to me. Oh, it's a communication issue, people. You're all so used to looking at your screens. How many people in the listening audience have sat in a room with somebody who you were supposed to be spending time with, but how many of you have found yourself parallel playing, which is you each look at your cell phones, and it's not that you want to have an interactive experience by sharing, oh, look at this photograph or this or that or blah, blah, blah. But you're actually each listening to music or doing your own thing, but you're comfortable in the space of the other person. But you're doing your own thing. How many people have experienced that? Have you ever experienced that, Jessica?
I have.
Have you ever experienced that, Eitan?
Plenty.
Oh, you have?
I even recall how 15 years ago, before texting became a norm, I was annoyed at one time somebody who was with me in the family who was texting while walking next to me instead of answering my questions. And at the time, well, things happen. Now I'm texting as well. Things have moved on, but I still recall.
Was it Jessica?
Most likely.
Could have been Michelle.
And it was very, very weird to me that to see somebody so absorbed into a means of communication while shutting off the rest of the world.
That didn't last. Okay.
Did you confront Jessica about that?
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah, I think I was there. Yeah. No? But then there was another time, then it didn't work very well.
But then you got me unlimited texting.
We got her unlimited texting, which was brilliant. Texting is a very important mode of communication, especially and particularly when children are in school and they need their parents to be aware of something that happens or they need assistance. And we can all imagine situations like that, some very, very unfortunate recent situations, just through the course of the day. We don't always think about or plan in advance, which is actually another negative impact of cell phones. And I am not completely against cell phones. I am video recording this on my cell phone right now, so I'm very happy with cell phones and the positive impact that they can have on a person's life. If the cell phone is used to enrich and to expand horizons, that's wonderful. Cell phones can do more than just interfere or facilitate interference with, or distract from communication. Cell phones and computer screens, because of how close we sit to them, as well as television screens, can negatively impact our health on several levels. So this is the wellness moment that's going to morph into wellness 6 minutes. And it has to do with the rhythm of nature and how we as human beings need to start to observe what's going on around us in the seasons, because we are impacted, mind, body, spirit, and our total balance, and our immune system is severely impacted by certain habits that we adopt that the brain, the CEO of your body, which is your business, prefers we do not adopt. So here we go. In the winter, the sun goes down, and there's a reason why we feel more tired earlier when the sun goes down sooner. We want to eat dinner a little bit earlier, and some of us may find ourselves wanting to go to bed by 8 o'clock or 8:30 at night. There's a reason for that. When the sun goes down, some of the light rays that come out of the sun that spend their energy triggering our brain to keep us awake, when the sun comes up, we wake up. When the sun is shining, we are not supposed to be so tired that we can fall asleep in the middle of the day. The reason for that, part of the reason for that, for most people, is that the sun's rays have the ability to shut off production of the go-to-sleep neurotransmitter hormone, several of them, but one in particular, melatonin. So the sun's rays, the blue frequency, comes into the eyes, goes to the brain, and shuts off melatonin. Then the sun goes down, and it's not shutting off the melatonin, so the melatonin is free to be produced, and so it does. So the sun goes down, and then a whole bunch of neurotransmitters and biochemical stuff happens, and melatonin is free to be produced, and it's produced in people who are well. And when the sun goes down and we produce the melatonin, we get tired and we want to go to sleep. But guess what happens in most families, at least in the Northeast United States? When the sun goes down, what do? We turn on a light switch inside the house, because even though the sun went to bed, we still got stuff we have to do, right? So we have things that we need to attend to, or so we believe. And in flipping on those switches, unless we have, well, even if we have a full spectrum light, in flipping on those switches, we are artificially suppressing the production of melatonin. So what does this do with cell phones and televisions and computer screens? When we spend the hours that are dark outside, when we spend those hours in front of, whether we're outside or inside the home, computer screens, cell phones, televisions, we impact our body negatively. So what can we do about that? Because we are not, I know that 99.99% of the people listening are not going to just simply say, oh, look, it's 4:30, the sun went down, time to go to sleep. It's not going to happen. So what can we do to protect ourselves? Oh, that's a very good question. I'm so glad I asked it, since nobody in the studio audience is asking it. There are rays that we need to block. So you can watch your computer screen, you can watch your television, you can look at your cell phone. If you wear amber tinted glasses, UVX or something is a company that I just purchased these glasses from. They're not expensive. I think I mentioned them last time in a prior broadcast. There are glasses that are not tinted but that filter out blue rays or particular light, parts of the light spectrum, and that can facilitate your sleep. It's also important because you don't want to constantly bombard the back of your eye, the retina, with rays of light that they are not intended to be looking at after the sun goes down, because that can contribute to other problems in the eye, macular degeneration and other problems that you can talk to your holistic optometrist about. Are there questions in the studio audience?
I like that you're tying in the sunglasses to this story about eye contact, because I used to be against wearing any type of sunglasses whatsoever.
That's
because
a
I
good
felt
point.
like it was a wall between me and the world, and I wanted people to see if I was looking at them and wanting to initiate this or that, and I just never wore sunglasses. So then I thought, I'll buy a bunch of really good ones, and maybe one day I'll pick one up before leaving the house. And I still have trouble remembering to bring them with me and putting them on. And now I realize for health, it's so important. It's not just like a fashion statement, it's really important to preserve the health of our eyes and our vision.
That is such an important point. The UVA and the UVB that are blocked by sunglasses are what we wear. They are sunglasses. The ones to which I was referring are
Night
after
glasses.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
There's sun up glasses, then there's sundown glasses. There are the indoor glasses that give you and when you look through them, everything's a golden tinge, you know, and it's kind of
It's
nice.
relaxing.
It's very relaxing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got them for the whole family. Got one for Grandpa. They have the kind that you can put over your regular glasses if you have reading glasses or glasses for distance. You can get these in a wider rim that you can put over them. And they're important, but that's an important point that you brought up. Sunglasses were around long before cell phones, and they were used to block people out from eye contact and to interfere with communication and the energy exchange with eye contact.
Yeah.
Eye contact is a very, very personal experience. And you can look in somebody's eyes. I challenge any of the listeners. Look into somebody's eyes who you trust, who you know you trust. Look into their eyes and see if they can express a feeling, anger, sadness, happiness,
A mood.
a mood, just through their eyes, where they're not using the rest of their face. And there's a story that we actually have, it's coming up in a future broadcast, about that experiment that was done with Marcy and her father, or Marcy and her family, or maybe even Hope, I think her father. So I hope you'll tune in for that. Are there any other comments, health and wellness comments to make?
I think it's just a good trend, and then we'll learn about body language, and it's just reading the people and the environment.
That's true. You're not supposed to trust everybody, because not everybody is deserving of your trust. And when you meet new people, it's important to be able to be self-protective to a degree, and open, have enough self-confidence to be able to be vulnerable to a degree. But that's another story as well. You have been listening to WPWL 103.7 FM Pauling Public Radio. This is Marcy's World. I'm your host, Dr. Nancy Iankiewicz. I'm so glad that you were able to join me. Tune in next time for another story and for more wellness tips. Stay tuned for Intermission with Christine Bexley. Bye-bye for now.